Okay, let me hand over to, we start with the boss, then the rest will follow.
Thank you so much. On behalf of Parliament of Uganda, here represented by members of Parliament under the leadership of the Deputy Speaker, we would wish to make this session an interactive one to get feedback from you in terms of policies, in terms of laws that we have in place in Uganda. I would be more than willing to provide points of clarity on some of the areas. For those who have invested in Uganda, you have tested some of our policies, you have tested some of our laws. What are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? What proposals would you want to draw to the attention of the Parliament of Uganda in terms of causing amendments to the existing laws and policies? So as parliamentarians, we would wish to get more of feedback and make it an interactive session. We are here to respond to more or less all points of clarity on laws passed by Parliament of Uganda. You are all aware that the Republic of Uganda is credited for having one of the best laws globally and in the continent of Africa. Now, for those who have tested our laws, we are here to get feedback from you. My name is Obua Dennis Amson, a member of Parliament and also Government Chief Whip of the Republic of Uganda. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Martin Muzale, a member of Parliament. I want to begin by thanking the Chief Whip, who is actually currently our leading team. As he has said it, we are here to clarify on a few aspects of your contention and also to give you information regarding our legislative arm. Thank you.
Thank you. Businge Harriet Businge Akiki once again. I represent the people of Hoima district. When they were talking about the oil, the airport, the refinery, that is where I belong, and it is the community I represent. But basically here, personally, I want to look at how we can play into politics. We, as people in the diaspora, how do we take part? Because automatically the political climate affects how we invest and what we invest. I thank you.
Thanks very much. And I want to thank the Chief Whip and the initiator of this important forum. I'm called Charles Bakablindi. We are talking about investment. We are talking about how we can attract foreign and those who are coming back home. And when we talk about investment, we are talking about factors of production, labor, capital, and land. Of course, you are very much welcome to Uganda. Land for investment is available. And I've been hearing people talking, are your laws good? Are they employer friendly, investor friendly? Are they friendly to the employees? I can tell you, Uganda is unique. When it comes to labor laws, the workers are represented. The employers are represented, and the government is represented. So all those concerned with that, we are in position to explain to you. Once again, you are very much welcome to our Uganda for investment.
Thank you so much. Our boss, the Government Chief Whip. My name is Sylvia Nayevale. I'm a Member of Parliament from Gomba, but also I sit on the Committee of Trade and Tourism with much passion on tourism. When you talk about Uganda, definitely everyone knows it's the pearl of Africa. And Uganda is a country to go to or to visit if you haven't visited. It's a home. Like one of the panelists said here, one thing he likes about Uganda is the welcoming smile. One thing he likes about Uganda is the climate. One thing he likes about Uganda are the good futures. And Uganda is a home of one of the most endangered species. Those who have read, Uganda has the most birds. 11% of the country's birds are in Uganda. So when it comes to tourism, Uganda is number 1.
Hi, my name's Carrie Gower. I'm an agronomist, and I wanted to ask, since agriculture forms such a huge part of export for Uganda, but 41% of the soils are degraded, 12% are seriously degraded, what is the government doing to educate rural farmers on sustainable agricultural practices that means that that's going to support the agricultural development going into the future?
Thank you so much. On the issue of sustainable agriculture reforms, what we can tell you is that we've come up with the reforms in agriculture, especially 1, mechanized agriculture. 2, we are looking at how to improve on our seeds. We have institutions like NADS, we have institutions like NARO. All those are doing research intended to improve on our quality of seeds and improving on the agriculture. If you go back to Uganda, you can read about NARO. It is majorly to do research on seeds. NADS is basically to see that agricultural reforms, new mechanized agricultural reforms are practiced in Uganda. So all these are basically intended to see that we improve our agriculture sector.
Okay, on the same, just supplement on what Honorable has just said, we know that land is very, very critical when it comes to agriculture. Automatically, Uganda is blessed to have very good soils, but we use the land to cultivate. What our country is doing is to make sure that our people are stable on their lands. We have laws in place to make sure that there is equitable distribution of land, especially to the weak ones, the weak gender, the weaker gender, the women, because definitely we know that it is the women who do most of the cultivation. You find that the laws in place puts into place that everybody has a right to own land, at least in Uganda, and that has been done illegally to make sure in the confines of the law, all our people can easily access land to be able to cultivate, to be able to practice agriculture. So I believe we are yet there as a country, but everything is being done to make sure that we have equitable accessibility to land ownership and land use.
Maybe if I may just add something little. You know very much that society is dynamic, it's not static. Land is not elastic. The population is increasing. We are now working on the mindset of our people. Initially, traditionally, we are not commercial. But because of these reforms and people wanting to maximize the profits, we are coming with all changes where people have to adopt the new methodologies.
Thank you so much. Maybe just to add a little, she talked about the soils. Government is also focusing on the soil input. It is also focusing on the manufacturing of pesticides and fertilizers to enhance the fertility of soil and to enhance with the farmers.
Earlier in the year, I spent 3 weeks visiting lots of different smallholders across Uganda, and you mentioned narrow and the seed development, but a very concerning thing that I found was that a lot of people didn't understand hybrid seeds. So they were saving seeds from hybrid plants and then experiencing total crop failures. I only spoke to one farmer that understood the difference between open pollinated and hybrid seeds, and that coupled with poor soil management is causing a huge problem. And I struggled to find information on projects that were happening across the country because I was hoping to go and visit and see what was actually being done. So I was interested in how do you access that information? I did email Narrow a few times before I went, but I didn't get a response. So I just found it really difficult to find out what was actually going on, what extension services were available for rural farmers.
Thank you so much. On the issue of data concerning agriculture, my advice to the investors, we have quite a number of organizations, but most critical is narrow, where you can have all information that has been researched on the various varieties or species in Uganda, soil composition and texture. That's where you can get all this information. Just go to Google, narrow, you'll get everything that you want about Uganda soils, about Uganda species.
Hello, good afternoon, respected members of parliament. My question is, what is Uganda doing to improve the skills of its workers? What are the various practical things to adapt them to the changing workplace, especially with regard to the increasing automation and various other things going on around the world? How can Ugandan workers increase their skills? Skills, yes. Skill development.
Thank you. So we have an issue on skills development and a conclusion on Carrie's question on soil and data.
Thanks very much. That's a very interesting questions about improving the skills of its workers.
The microphone closer.
About improving the skills of its workers. Of course, the government has come with a variety of approaches, including vocational institutions, whereby workers of different grades are skilled in the different sectors, and that's the way forward. And this is what has even increased on the production of labor, because we are placing people in the different categories and adding on skills and motivating them to the extent that they're even touring them now so that they can acquire the skills and be self-sustaining. And I think we are moving toward that. Not only that, when you come to the formal organizations like factories, there is regular programs of imparting new skills about the modern technologies that are working. And we as workers, this is something that we are advocating for.
On the issue of skills development, what I want to tell our potential investors here, that Uganda as a country, by the way, we have a big population that is of youths. If you want skilled labor, we have acquired it. What we can tell you is that our boys, our girls have been trained in various skills. Don't be worried in coming to invest in Uganda, because one, there are two things. One, we've got cheap labor and it is quality labor. So we have all the skills in our children, so just come and invest.
Honorable, let's use the word affordable labor. Cheap is a bit...
Okay, just thank you for the correction.
Thank you so much. Like I said, I'm passionate about tourism. I think I'll stand because people are eating, people are engaged. Uganda is known for its game viewing. It has most of the endangered species, the lions, the elephants, the mountain gorillas, and the like. And Uganda hosts most of the birds. 11% of the wild birds are in Uganda. When you talk about the rivers, when you talk about the mountains, when you talk about the good foods, when you talk about the climate, everything is good about Uganda. So I had asked them to play a small video for our investors as they come to invest. Tourism is also very pertinent, important for relaxing, for enjoying with family. Please don't get stressed in Uganda. We have a lot more to offer. With our tourism, you could watch a video, please.
Welcome to one of Africa's highest, most remote and unknown mountain ranges, located in Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. The Rwenzori Mountains, also known as the Mountains of the Moon, are stretched over 120 kilometers long and 61 kilometers wide. Come and experience Africa's most beautiful alpine area. With every hour and every altitude gain, the landscapes, colors and views are ever-changing. This UNESCO-protected national park contains unique biodiversity and breathtaking sceneries such as the bamboo zones, mossy heather zone, numerous waterfalls, tropical rainforest, mountain lakes, and eternal snow. Culminating at an altitude of 5,109 meters, the Margarita Peak is the highest point in Uganda and the third highest peak of the whole African continent after Kilimanjaro and Mount Kenya. This mystical and demanding mountain range is located on the foothills of Queen Elizabeth National Park, one of Africa's most popular game drives, and a few hundred kilometers from the Bwindi impenetrable forest that inhabits the endangered silverback mountain gorillas. Rwenzori Mountains offers trails for all levels of hikers, which range from 1-day to 10-day trips. The shorter trips are not as physically demanding and still showcase the amazing beauty in the art of nature, including rare vegetation, rivers, and numerous waterfalls. This unique biosphere is a true gem that needs to be preserved not only for the many endemic species it contains, but also for the local community which directly benefits and lives from the mountain's gifts. Be ready for the ultimate trekking experience. Come and discover Rwenzori, the Mountains of the Moon located in Uganda, the Pearl of Africa.